the pressing question for me, and I think a lot of other people, is you referred to the elite. So though the elite have been around since probably time memorial, and they're always elite around. Some people refer to them as psychopaths. They have different names and different personality traits, but they've been around for a long time. So my question is this: how do we, the people, if we want to call it that, who are basically people who are looking for the truth, or looking to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and aren't looking out to hurt our neighbor or hurt our fellow man. How do we go up against this elite? Because they are not going to give up their power easily. And they have spent the last 240 years building a huge, monstrous power base.
Right.
That's almost impenetrable. And so my question is, that's my bottom line question. How do we get them to give up? Because, you talked about filing all these motions and work within the system, which is great, but if the elite are controlling everything, why do they even have to give you the time of day?
We have taken over the court. We don't, we don't have a judge in our court. We really have a magistrate. Matter of fact, he is a magistrate and not a judge. So that's the guy they gave us. Originally, we had a judge, and they changed him over to a magistrate. We've laid down the process of a common law court, and they so far had adhered to it. This judge has been very silent, hasn't made any decisions, although he's been asked to make decisions by the enemy, of course, through letters. They don't file these papers; they put them in letters, and try to get rid of us for no standing and all the other things that they use. But this judge has not responded to those things. Time has gone by. We're now filing defaults. We're going to see now where he's going to go with defaults, because now he's got to follow the letter of the law. His flesh is on the line here. We've filed defaults. These people have defaulted. And it's against the law. It's against the process, the rules, everything, for this judge to ignore the procedure. So we're going to see what happens with that. We're also copying this to Congress. A couple of people in Congress, Trey Dowdy, Gowdy. What's the other guy's name, Gerard? There's three of them.
Jason Chavez,
and there's a third one who runs the Judiciary Committee, I believe. I forget his name. But anyway, we're copying those three individuals. We're copying Jeff Sessions, and of course, we're copying the president. We're also going to go down hard on Jeff Sessions on our next paper and do a show cause on him, why he isn't responding and doing what needs to be done. If and when the president feels that he can do what's necessary to kind of empower us by pressing the issue with Jeff Sessions, which he needs to do at some point sooner or later, that in itself would empower us in the courts and move the process. We've told Jeff Sessions that we need common law prosecutors here in New York, and we've talked to him about the suppression, the subversion, suppression of the people and the subversion. So he's very much aware of it. So that's one way we can get empowered. The other way, of course, is critical mass. At some point, they just can't ignore us. But the key thing in the courts, especially the federal courts, is the judges are very careful in their language, what they do and what they say. And we've discovered a few things concerning their processes, usually what's used in what's a process called INREM, INREM, which the IRS uses that, tax foreclosures uses that, and even mortgage companies are using that in order to take people's property and go after people criminally. And so we understand how it has been written into the rules of the court, and we're using that against them by exposing it. There are certain things they just can't. There is a certain scam that they got going on, and they give you like 15 days to respond, and then they write it into the rules. You don't respond in 15 days, then you don't have the option to, deny or go or bring the issue up anymore. And so we go right away to that process. We put the judge into a situation where his flesh gets on the line. It becomes personal now, because now he's going to become part of an open conspiracy. And with that, we have found a little bit of success in a few cases that we have taken, one against the IRS and the federal courts, which closed down very quickly as soon as we started moving down that road. And now we're using that in this court case now. Well, we've already laid that out. We have about 10 or 12 memorandums, which lays out all the processes by which we are following and going into these courts, and by what rules and what authority we come into the court with, the rules of common law, and the authority we're coming in with as the people, we the people, under the name of the grand jury, which is the sureties of peace.